Hi everyone, welcome to Northern Zen Yoga. My name is Sandra, and I've just been chatting here with a few people online as they've been signing in. If you haven't signed in yet, and you can, and you haven't sent this off to your TV, let me know you're there. I just wanted to acknowledge that I see that Dottie from Raleigh is with us today again, and Beth. Beth is in Peterborough. Also, there's Alyssa in Thornhill, and we have Christine in Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia, and also Valerie from Virginia. So, Connie says, can I do this with a broken finger? I was just going to send off a message to you, Connie. Hang on a second. Might as well finish that. You should be able to do most of the class today with your finger. It shouldn't be a problem. We're going to be doing Yin Yoga. Most of it is seated or lying down. So, but listen to your body. Don't do anything I'm asking you to do if it's causing you any pain in your hand. Probably if you're holding it up, you might feel a little bit of throbbing from the blood pressure going through your finger if it's damaged. So watch for those kind of things. And the neatest thing about yoga is we only work within our body's abilities. And that's very important. And especially when we're doing Yin Yoga, we don't force anything in this class. We wait for gravity to do most of the work. I'm just going to check to see who else is checking in. I see the lights coming on. Hi, Joyce. Joyce is in Florida. I hope it's warm in Florida. I think the rest of North America is not. But hey, if it's not minus 20, it's still pretty good. And Lisa from Pennsylvania. Are you guys still getting snow through that area? I know that the other day there was a system going through Pennsylvania and New York State and the East Coast and up into Canada's East Coast. We missed it here where I am. We got a couple inches, but we get a couple inches almost every day, so that's nothing new. And Jerry, hi Jerry. Jerry is Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. And okay, 3 hours or so north of Myrtle Beach. Okay, next time I'm down that area, I'm going to go check out your beach. Joyce says it's 74 degrees. Well, that's really wonderful. I think it's, the other day it felt like minus 74 here, but if it wasn't for COVID, I would probably be doing this class from a condo down in Florida. Lisa says, in Pennsylvania, there is a lot of snow. So I bet a lot of you that have been a lot of snow, have been doing a lot of snow shoveling. So you're probably really going to need this relaxing stretching class to help stretch out some of those tight muscles that you have. Although maybe a lot of them will be up in your arms and shoulders and maybe the upper back. And mostly in Yin, we work on the hip area. But it's going to feel good anyway. It's going to help you to relax and feel very zen. Now, I'm looking at the image I see, and it doesn't look too bad, but I just wanted to let you know I had everything set up perfectly. And then I accidentally tripped on a wire, and I knocked my camera flying, and it was all kinds of weird directions, and I had to put it back together, but it was too late for me to see how the feed looked because I had already set up, ready to go. So I'm looking at it, and it looks pretty good. Grab a piece. Patty, you are on the West Coast, are you not? I am so happy if you are. You're out in British Columbia. So I'm so glad you joined us. It's around 10:30 at your time. So good morning class for you. Okay, Jerry says everything looks good, and it kind of looks good in my camera view too. And hopefully we've got everything set up to go. If you don't, I'm going to give you a couple of more minutes. Make sure you have a block, or even if you have a couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use hard-covered books. Depending how thick they are, you might want to have 2 hardcover books. Sometimes old cookbooks are pretty thick and they're great. They're a fantastic replacement for a block. Not too soft, but you can always put your blanket over top of it. You're going to need to have a couple of smaller type blankets, throw blankets that you would have on the couch. I even have, I just wanted to show you this to share it with you. This is one of those sheepskins you can buy some places. I got this at IKEA. IKEA had these for a while. I don't know if they still sell them, but this is actually fur. And these also make a great cushion, something to sit on, something to rest underneath your leg if you're in the pose. Blankets, small blankets. You don't need to drag the one off your king size bed if you've got something smaller. Get a couple of them though. Pillows, small pillows, like little throw pillows, are fantastic to work with yin. If you have a bolster, bolsters are good obviously too. But sometimes the bolster is too high or too stiff, especially in your beginning of doing yin yoga. So if you haven't got these things with you right now, please go and grab them immediately. The other thing you probably want to do is, probably not, I just forgot your name that lives in Florida. Oh my gosh, Joyce. Joyce, you probably don't need to worry about this, but unless you're in the air conditioning and it's pretty chilly in there, wear socks for yin yoga. And you can wear a sweatshirt. You see, I've got my sweatshirt on and I've got my sweatpants on. These aren't yoga pants, these are sweatpants. And I want to keep warmer because we're not moving around. We're not generating any body heat by effort. So helping to keep our muscles warm helps them to stretch better. So throw a pair of socks on, get comfy, throw an extra sweatshirt on if you're feeling a bit chilly and you were hoping to build up a little bit of generated heat. And I don't see anybody else checking in right now, so I think it's time to start. Let's begin in a seated position. And I'm going to sit up on my bolster. You can also, if you like, you can sit on your bolster or your blanket to raise your hips up just a little higher. We're going to take a couple of minutes now just to breathe. So set yourself up in your easy pose, and your easy pose could be here. If crossing your legs and your ankles is very difficult for you, if you have tight knees, or maybe yours looks like this. When I first started yoga, mine looked like this. My hips were very locked up, very tight, so I couldn't drop them out to the sides. So find your easy pose. Now my easy pose is looking a lot more like the typical yoga easy pose, and with time yours will start to look this way too. It does take time though, so be patient. So we're going to begin in this position and we're going to start to breathe. Now the breath is so important to yoga, particularly in yin yoga. And the reason for that is this. Yin yoga helps us to release stress that's trapped in our bodies. So when we're breathing, we breathe in a little bit of a different way than we do in a regular yoga class. We still breathe into the belly. That hasn't changed. We still inhale through the nose. So we'll take a deep inhale and push your belly out. But when we exhale, we're going to sigh it out. And you'll see as soon as you do that, keep breathing and doing that a couple more times while I talk. You'll feel that natural relaxation happen. Breathing in through the nose, pushing the belly out, filling up the lungs right down into here. And on the exhale, let it go. You can moan and groan in yin. If you're all alone by yourself, it doesn't matter. Nobody can hear you. Don't feel self-conscious. Just let those groans out. And if you do have somebody that's within earshot, well, that's too bad for them. Just let it go because you're doing yourself an amazing favor by allowing your body to release that stress, to let those out of your system. So whatever your easy pose looks like, we're just going to sit here for a few more moments with our legs. If you've got them crossed, no matter where you are in your position, you're going to sit and relax. Just close your eyes or let them at least become softened up. You don't need to see me here. Just breathe and let those sighs out. Breathing in and breathing out. Let your shoulders relax down, drop away from your ears. Let your arms get heavy on your lap. You can have your palms up or down, doesn't matter, whatever feels natural. Couple more breaths. And then very gently, we're going to switch our legs around. So whatever leg you had in the front, you're going to move it back. And whatever leg you had backward, you're going to bring it more to the front. Take another deep breath in, right into the bottom of your lungs. Exhale. A few more inhales and exhales. And as you sit here and breathe, begin to think of an intention for yourself for today, an intention even just for the practice. Make it positive and make it very much in the present. I am peace. I am calm. I am relaxed. Whatever appeals to you, just find your mantra. And I want you to think of this as a mantra, because when we're holding the postures we're going to hold them today for up to 4 minutes. I want you to repeat these words to yourself, especially when your mind chatter starts to kick in and you start thinking about the grocery list and what you're supposed to be doing later and what you could be doing if you weren't here. And just let those words that you've chosen just take away that thoughts and let them drift away. All right, we're going to begin going into our very first posture. And I'm not going to actually show you it. I'm going to describe it to you. And I would like you to lay down on your mat, on your back. So before you get into any position whatsoever, once you get down on your back, bring your knees up and just rock and roll on your back until you start to feel your back start to soften up and relax down. And once you've relaxed, once you've settled in, I'm going to give you just a few more seconds to just get that body flattened down. Remember, if you feel like your neck is straining and your head is way too far back, just get your blanket, put a blanket or a small blanket or a very, very low pillow to be pushed toward your chest. You just want to feel much more lined up so that your neck and your shoulders and your back are all in one nice line and you don't feel any strain anywhere, especially in your neck. And from here, now that we're settled into our position, I want you to move your feet, keep your body exactly where it is, but just move your feet over toward the right corner of your mat. And then I want you to stretch your arms out overhead. And I want you to start to try to bring your head toward the other right corner, the top right corner of your mat, so that you end up being in a crescent moon kind of shape or a banana shape, whichever way best describes this for you. So your back and your bottom are still in the middle of your mat, but your feet and your head and your arms are moving themselves toward the right side of the mat so that you have this nice stretch going up the left side of your body. So I'm just going to set the timer now, And then I'm going to get myself in the position. So if you have any doubts whatsoever, then you can have a quick peek over to see what I'm doing. And then you can relax. And don't forget to repeat your mantra a few times. And the top arm can be wherever feels comfortable. It could be draped over your face, like you're swooning, or like it's too bright a sunshine. Or if your shoulders allow, you can stretch right up and grab your wrist. And what we're going for is just that nice stretch up the side of the body, up to the shoulder. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. If you like, you can even cross your ankles here. Take another deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Come back to center now. Just move yourself back to lining up in the center. We're just going to spend a few breaths just allowing our body to come back. And just notice where you feel anything. Good, bad, or indifferent. And then very slowly and gently, we're going to now curve ourselves to the other side. So we're going to be moving our feet over toward the left corner of our mat. And moving our arms and our head slightly toward the other side of the mat. And again, it doesn't matter where your arm is. Your arm should be wherever is comfortable for your shoulders in this position. Set the timer. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Allow yourself to just relax here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Very slowly, come back to center. Bring everything back to center. And we're going to place our feet flat on the floor. And we're just going to rock back and forth, our knees side to side gently. And then just relax. Take a few breaths. And if you have your pillows or rolled up blanket handy, you need to get that beside you now. If you're going to have to get up to grab them, make sure you roll over to one side first before you get up. Don't try to strain yourself by sitting straight up. And I've got my bolster here, but I'm not going to put it to the side until I've shown you what you're going to do next. So to start with, we're going to extend one leg, and we're going to bring the right leg up into our chest, or as close as we can get to our chest. You could grab it on the shin, you can grab it behind the thigh, but don't grab your knee. And we're just going to relax for a moment, and then with our breath, we're going to squeeze as we inhale and release as we exhale. So just a gentle squeeze. Inhale and exhale. Inhale again and exhale. One more time. Inhaling, squeeze and relax. So putting our blanket or bolster here or whatever, your pillow, beside that hip, you're just going to gently let that leg fall out to the side. So I'm going to grab my bolster and show you what that would look like. You need to have a look. So it's by my hip, it's not up here. And I'm just going to let my leg relax out to the side. Now, what I don't want you to do is to try to force your leg down to the floor. We're just allowing the hip joint to open up slightly without too much pressure on our sacral joint, our sacroiliac joint. It's a little joint that's right along the line of the spine without getting too technical, that has a little bit of a flexibility in the big bone of the hip. And we're not really getting that engaged. We're just allowing our hip joint to open up. Now that we're here, we're going to set the timer. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Take a few more of those breaths. Inhale to your belly. Exhale through the mouth. Just let that leg just get really relaxed and soft. Even if you're not feeling a big stretch happening here, you will still be getting a benefit from this because we're gently stretching out this joint. For some of you, you may still have an issue. You might have to put even more stuff here, but just try to relax into it. As long as you're not feeling pain, just breathe into it. Take a deep breath in again. Let it go through your mouth. Very slowly slide your foot down to the floor. If you need to, you can help your knee up to an upright position. You're going to take your cushions or your blankets or whatever you use to rest your knee on. You're going to flip it over to the other side. Get it onto the opposite side of your body now. We're going to stretch out and just rest here for a second. And just notice how that leg feels, how that hip joint feels. Sometimes we don't realize that we don't have to have a lot of strong sensation in order for our body to be able to be released and to have the muscles and tendons stretch gently. So we're going to bring our attention now to the other leg, the opposite leg that we just worked on, and we're going to bring that leg up toward our chest, and we're going to inhale, squeeze it in, and exhale, gently release. Inhale, give it a squeeze, and release. And just do that 2 more times. Inhale slowly, squeeze it in, exhale, release. Once more, inhale, exhale, release. And then guide your knee over to the side where your pile of pillows or your bolster is, and relax your leg out to that side. If you hadn't noticed the other way I was doing it, I apologize for not mentioning it. Try to have your foot raised up off of the ground if you can. If that's not possible and you have to have a little more support down at the bottom, then you can drop your foot to the floor. Try to make sure you're not rolling in order to go deeper onto the side. Just let it be. Just let it relax there. And we'll set the timer. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Do a few more of those breaths if you feel you need them. And allow yourself to moan and groan. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Gently slide your foot down to the floor if you have it up on the cushion. Help your knee up to center. And then slide your leg out, stretch it out. And begin to notice how different it feels now than it did when you started. Hips feel a little more relaxed now. Let's roll over to one side. Bring your knees up toward your chest. Hug them in. And when you're ready, just move yourself back up to your seated position. So one of the things I want to talk to you about before we go into our next posture is quite often in Yin Yoga, now it won't happen every time, and sometimes you think you're past all of this and then it happens again. You may feel emotion, very strong emotions come up. You might feel anger. A lot of times what happens is, and it's no reflection on the instructor, but you might even feel angry at the instructor, like, what is the purpose of this? Like, why am I doing this? And it's actual true emotion, not just boredom, that's coming up. You feel anger. The other thing you might feel is sadness, deep, deep sadness. You might even feel, and you may not even be able to control, the fact that you want to cry. Please, if you feel any of these emotions coming up, and I even had one lady who started laughing in the middle of the class, and she apologized after, and I'm fine with all of these different emotions that come up. I'm not ever questioning them. And she apologized and said, I want you to know I wasn't laughing at you. I just had this uncontrollable urge to laugh. And I said, that's good. That's an emotional release that for whatever reason, you were probably holding down some laughter or something, maybe not making fun of somebody, and you had to let that go. So these things happen. Feel them. Don't push them back down. The whole purpose of releasing your hips and your body is to also release those emotions that we shove down in there. Women are very good at shoving emotion into their pelvis, and that's why their pelvis is so vulnerable and it gets so tight. And a lot of our issues we have are with our gut and our back, and these often are because of the pent-up emotion, the tension that we give ourselves for not allowing ourselves to experience emotion and let it go at the time. So here in this posture we're going to go into, you could use your bolster again or rolled up blanket. For me this time, I think I'm just going to use a blanket folded up. I find that in the forward folds that the bolster is a little bit too high. So if you have a nice cushion that's on the firm side you'd rather sit on, go for it. Beautiful thing about Yin is that most of the Yin postures, you can even do it on your bed or on your couch or some other comfortable place besides your mat, anytime you like. So we're going to begin with the forward fold. Now, one of the things I want to make you aware of is that you don't have to have your leg, I'm going to put it to the side so you can see what I'm talking about, flattened out if you cannot do this. If you can't flatten your leg out, don't force your leg to flatten out, or don't feel like you're not really getting anything from this if you can't do this art. But we're going to extend it out to the front. So if you can flatten your leg out, that's fine. If you can't and you've got a slight bend in your leg, that's okay too. The other leg, we're going to bring it in as close as we can toward our groin. Now, if you find that you're not able to do that because of your knees, you've got bad knees, this one's bent and this one is like way out here, it is what it is. And that's fine. Yoga is not about this perfection of looking in this way that you see in magazines and books and things like that, or videos. It's about doing what is working for your body right now, this moment, this second. And what works for you today might change tomorrow. It might be better, it might be worse. You have to go with the flow every day. So if this is where you are and you need to have a block or another blanket shoved under here or cushion to support you so that you're not feeling too much happening in the folded leg, that's fine. If you want to have your knees slightly bent here, that's fine too. This stretch is really much more about the low back stretch. We're trying to stretch some muscles that are right in our low back area that are attached to our pelvis and work their way up. It's a nice big flat muscle that goes all the way up your back. So it's important to know what part of the body we're actually bending. We're not bending our back at all. We're keeping our back actually quite straight and flat, and we're bending from the hip joint. So when we come forward, keep your chin up and just bring your belly down. So you're going to come down until you find the place where your back and your legs tell you, you have to stop now. And wherever that is, if you're feeling it, you're doing it. And it doesn't matter what it looks like. Even if you only come this much forward, you got your knee bent, you got this way out here, and you come forward and you're feeling things pulling, you're doing yoga. So let's take a deep breath in. Lift up the rib cage. And on your exhale, let's bring your belly down. Don't push, don't force. Just find the place where you want to stop. And that's where we are. Your body will do the rest. If you start to relax, your leg starts to relax, or your chest starts to be able to come down deeper, allow it. Just going to start the timer. Don't try to resist that movement, but if you go into any kind of pain, back up, come out of the posture completely. Take another deep breath in through the nose. Let it go through the mouth. And relax here. Breathe deeply. Hi, Suzanne. I just noticed that you signed in. Glad that you're with us. Let's not forget our mantra as we go through this practice. Keeping our mind in the now. Keep taking those nice, long, slow breaths. Take a deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. Allow yourself to relax deeper. Very, very slowly using your hands, push you up. Keep your back nice and straight as you come up. Bring your knees up to your chest. Hug them in as close as you could get. The rebounding is a very important part of the Yin Yoga process. It just allows our muscles and our tendons to slowly come back from the stretch without any extra effort being put onto them so that they can recover. And now we're going to switch legs. So whatever leg you had extended now will be the one that's folded, and the one that was folded up before is going to be extended out. And this leg might be entirely different. It might feel different. You might be able to stretch it better. You might be worse on this side. It's quite natural to be different on both sides of your body, so just work with wherever you are. Again, wherever you look like, wherever your foot has to be for your knee to keep it comfortable, whatever you need to shove under you. Let's take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, just keep your chin up and bring your belly down till you find your stopping place. You'll know it. And then start to breathe again in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep breathing. Each breath helping you to relax deeper. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Take another deep breath in. Exhale. Using your hands, very slowly push yourself back upright. Make sure you keep your back nice and straight as you come up. And then slowly bring your knees back into the chest. Hug them in. Just notice how you're feeling. What's happening? What's coming up for you? Now we're going to be doing a few more postures. We started a little bit late from 1:30. I hope you can all stay with me and you don't have to rush off anywhere. I kind of go with the flow in these classes. I don't stick to a strict, it's only a 1 hour time period and then I cut everything off. So just relax, and if you can stay with me, great. If not, I understand if you've already made plans for after 2:30. But our next posture is going to be a little bit more challenging. So I'm going to recommend that you get up on to a rolled up blanket for sure, even maybe add a pillow to it. I'm going to go back to my bolster. And this particular posture in Yin is called Shoelace. So I know that this is not going to feel fun for all of you. And we're not going to hold it that long. We're only going to hold it for a couple of minutes for each side, as opposed to the 4 minutes. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So you're going to begin sitting up on your cushion and your knees in front of you. We're going to take the right leg and we're going to slide it underneath the left leg. And then we're going to take the left leg and we're going to slide it over top and to the right so that we kind of look like this. Now, ideally, this is what you're going for, but yours may look like this. So the main thing I want you to do with the bottom leg is to pull it toward your bum so that it's up toward your cheek. And where you can get this foot after that is whatever you can do. So we're not really doing much more than bending our knee in here. If you have to have your knee way out here and then bring this one over, the main thing I want you to feel is a little bit of tightness as the hips squeeze toward each other, as the legs, start to squeeze toward each other. And you'll feel it on the inside, a little bit on the outside, but you'll feel most of the stress on the inside of your legs. So whatever you can get yourself shoelaced around, woven around. But remember, the key is that as long as you can bend your knee like this, you're not twisting anything. You're just going to let the hip drop down as far as it can toward the floor. And even if it only drops to here, because of your hip, not because of your knee, don't start to try to force anything or torque anything if the hip is resisting. And let that fall down to the floor. The other one is going to come across and come over top if it's possible. If not, even if you're here, that's quite all right. Or if you're like this, that's okay too. As long as you can feel that tension building in the hip joint. If you're sitting up higher, it's a lot easier. If you're sitting right on the floor, it's a little more of a challenge. So we're going to only hold this for a couple of minutes. So wherever you are right now, as long as you're not feeling pain, go with it. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. It helps. And breathe. Another inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Just a few more seconds. All right, slowly unravel yourself. Take your time, stretch your legs out. You'll notice you'll feel it right in here, right in the groin area as you unravel. We're going to just rock our legs back and forth with our feet flopping side to side, right up from the hip joint. And we're going to switch directions now. So now the left leg, or the opposite leg from the last time that was on top, is now going to be in the bottom. So we're going to bring the heel up, trying to bring this knee and straight in front of us, and then we're going to bring the other one over top. And just like the other side, if you're looking more like this than like I am, and you're feeling something here happening in your hip joint, you're fine. So wiggle yourself into your position. I'm going to start the timer now. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. This one doesn't get some of you groaning and moaning. Nothing will, I don't think. Breathe deeply. Take another deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Just a few more seconds. Slowly, slowly help your leg, move it straight out. Top leg, and then unravel the bottom leg. Straighten the legs out in front of you, and then gently rock your feet side to side right from the hip joint. So now that we've got these hips working a little bit and loosened up, I'm going to switch myself to a lower platform, but you can stay where you are, or you can go just down a notch and sit on a blanket. We're going to come into cobbler pose. So cobbler pose can be anywhere from this position, right here that I have myself in now, like a diamond shape, to bringing the heels closer to the body, but no closer than one handprint from your groin to your heels. So you want to leave a space between your body and your heels. This is not butterfly. We're not bringing the heels right back to the groin. So Make sure you have that space, but if you need to be further out because of your knees, that's fine. Now you might be more like this, even if you can get your feet closer. You might have your knees up a little bit higher. If you really feel like you need it, you can put some stuff in here to support that. Otherwise, you're going to just be concerned with bringing your belly down into that spot that's right here by your heels. So keeping your back nice and flat, that's a very important part of it. Keep your chin up to start out with. We're going to take a deep breath in, lengthen up through the spine, and start the timer. And as we exhale, let's bring our belly down toward the floor. Keep your chin up, keep looking up, look at me if you're positioned to do that. Take another inhale, exhale through the mouth. Let your belly sag down a little bit more. You're going to feel the stretch right up through the thighs and maybe a little bit in your low back, depending on how tight you are back there. Keep breathing, deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And once you've settled yourself to a spot where you feel like you're not really going to move here for a while from this position, you can relax your head down. Have a look at your feet and imagine maybe one day you could put your face there. Kiss your toes. Keep those deep breaths going. Forget your mantra. Just be careful you're not about forcing your head toward the floor. Make it more about pushing your belly down between your legs. Take a deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. Very slowly come up. Help your knees up. Bring them in. Give yourself a little hug. And if you feel like you would rather stretch the legs out here, you could do that too. And just again, shaking the legs from side to side, releasing the hips. So I'm going to ask you to come down on your back again. Remember, when you go down on your back, you've been bending forward for a while. Bring your knees up to your chest, roll on your back, roll side to side or in circles on your pelvis. Make sure you have a low cushion or the blanket folded up under your head so you're not feeling too much strain on your neck. And bring yourself into a very comfortable position for your Shavasana. So I'm not going to be joining you in the Shavasana. Instead, I'm going to be sitting here and I'm going to just give you a little instruction of how to relax and guide you through that. If you need to, have a sip of your water that you may have handy so that you're not thinking about being thirsty while you're in Shavasana. And when you get down and you get comfortable, stretch out into a nice star shape. Open your arms wide, palms facing up. Spread your legs apart. Take up lots of space. And do a few more of those deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and letting them out through your mouth. Let that, any last residual stress that might be hiding in there, just let it go. Take a deep breath into the belly. And let it go out. Moan it out, groan it out. Let it go, let it release. Let yourself get very soft. And adjust yourself if you're feeling like, oh, I'm not quite comfortable here. I'm just going to have to wiggle a little bit in this place or that place. Do whatever you need to do till you can get yourself to a place where you can totally let go. Totally relax. Let your jaw relax. Let your eyes relax. Make sure you close your eyes so that you're not focused on anything. Letting yourself go inward for a moment. And think of the word that you chose or your intention for your practice that you used as a mantra. Ask yourself, are you feeling it yet? Are you feeling that calm or that peace or that relaxation in your body? Let your hands relax. Make sure they're not tensing up and gripping them. Let your feet relax out to the sides. Take one more deep, deep breath into the belly. Release it through the mouth. And allow yourself to think of a place in your mind where you feel most at peace. No matter where that is. Just go there and spend a little time, just for a few more moments. Begin to have your eyes float open. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, waking up your body again. Give yourself a lovely stretch, a nice big stretch. Stretch it out. And then bring your knees up again to your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Just take a moment to thank your body. Thank you, body, for everything you do. And then roll over gently to one side. It doesn't matter whichever side feels most natural for you. And then when you're ready, slowly make your way up to a seated position, any kind of seated position that feels good for you right now while we close our class. Bring your palms together. Begin to rub, creating some friction, some prana. And as you do this, think of the places we stretched in our yin class. Our hips, our back. Close your eyes, place your palms over your closed eyes, and when you open them, breathe in. Send that energy right down the body to the hips. And when you exhale, palms to ceiling, sending the energy back out to the universe, but scoop up just a little piece and bring it back for your heart center. Namaste. I want to thank all of you that are here still to thank you for coming to our first Friday class. And I hope that this is going to continue. As long as we have people showing up for the class, I'll continue doing it. And if you have questions, now's the time. You can send me a question on the chat board, and I'm more than happy to answer it so everybody can hear the answer to the question you have. I always allow time at the end of the class for that. Other thing I always forget to mention is if you haven't subscribed, please press subscribe. If you haven't clicked like, please say like. If you don't like it, you can choose that one too, but I'd like things to be more positive. And the other thing too is that even though there is a fee for this class, which is $5, and you can go to my website, www.northernzenyoga.com, and the tab you're looking for is Become a Patron. It's totally up to you if you're going to pay for the class. I understand that a lot of us are under financial stress these days with people losing jobs and with the COVID problem and the extra costs of living when you're having to be at home or working from home. It's a lot of frustration. I understand that. So if you cannot afford to do it, please don't worry about it. I would do this for free if I didn't need to eat too. So just think about it, and if you can pay for the class. It's $5. Now, there's other options too. If you'd rather pay a little lump sum and cover a bunch of classes, you can do it that way as well. But whatever you do, I'm always grateful for. Thank you very much. And do we have any questions? I'm not seeing any questions yet. I'm seeing people saying thank you and leaving. But please, even if you have a burning question in your mind and you want to ask it, go ahead. I don't care if you're the last person standing, but if you have a question, please ask. Oh, how long did it take for me to be able to do shoelace? A long time. Probably a good couple of years before I could do what I did. And I can go even deeper into it if I'm sitting in a different position than I was. I was sitting up higher, so it's a little harder for me to get my legs behind me, but I can actually cross my knees past each other now. But it took a good couple of years to get there. First, you have to get the hips moving. It's just a fact. And I don't particularly have very good internal rotation. My external rotation, which means my hips can flop out, is quite good now. But rolling the hips across each other took a longer time. Yet there's hope. There's always hope. Everybody that's watching this, no matter where you think you're at right now, if you are persistent in yoga, if you keep up the practice of yoga, your body will reward you and it will open up and be more flexible again. And it doesn't take that long. It just takes persistence. Oh, the last posture is called corpse pose or Shavasana. It's the finishing pose to every yoga class. If any teacher robs you of that one, don't go back there. Yeah. Because Shavasana for me is, I don't have a Shavasana at the end of my yoga practice. It's like, why did I bother? Because Shavasana allows your body to absorb all of the energy that you just expelled into it or moved it, and it allows you to totally feel that relaxation response. If you were to do the same lay down position, and one of these days I'm going to have you all do that in the beginning, and you probably maybe felt it a little bit the first posture we did on the floor. You're just not that flat and comfortable. But when you're finished your yoga class, then you can just like feel that everything has loosened up. And the fact your dog got on top of you, he was feeling as comfy as you were. Okay, the one I would recommend, and I do have a video that says, I think something to the effect of yin while you're watching TV, something like that. The ones that I recommend that you do on a regular basis for the hips is this one, the half butterfly, and this one, the carpenter pose, or sorry, not carpenter pose, the cobbler pose. Cobbler pose, because also too you can get more rotation if you open your feet up, and you'll see, watch my, I hope you can see from there, watch my knees as I open my feet up, automatically my knees will rotate out. So that's cobbler pose, half butterfly pose, and also there's another one where you have it extended out to the side more like this, and you find a spot someplace in here to come forward. So what Yin wants you to do is to get your hip joint has a rotation, side to side and around. It has actually a very round rotation, because the head of the trochanter is a big ball. It's a ball joint. So what the Yin postures do is they help to move the hip in the different directions that it should be able to go into in order to counteract the tightening of the front ones to the back ones, or the back ones to the front ones. I mean tendons. And knees, well, knees, you're just going to have to work on the knees. The knees, the simple exercise for the knees is flat foot, and then start to move the foot out to go onto your heel. And then always putting, if you're going to put pressure, always putting pressure onto the thigh bone, and to slowly pushing down very gently, and then back up again. So pulling in and pushing down, pulling in and pushing down. That's the only way you're going to get the knee joint to get looser. If you have cartilage damage, this could be not too comfortable. But I had cartilage damage, and I thought I was going to have cartilage replacement have to be done. And after I began yoga, I realized that a lot of the stress on my knee joint was because of how tight my tendons and muscles were that support the knee joint. So as you stretch and the tendons and the muscles and get them more pliable and more loose, and the fascia that's wrapped around all of this, you'll find that you will be able to move more freely. It's persistence. That's the only thing I can tell you. It doesn't happen in a couple of tries. It doesn't happen in a couple of weeks. It's persistence over a period of time, and your body will respond. And one day you'll just go from being very, very tight to all of a sudden you go, whoa, I can do that now. And then you might be stuck there for a while, and then it'll be, oh, I can do that now. And that's how it works. So not seeing any more questions. You sure you guys don't have anything else you want to ask me before you leave? Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this class. Please, I like feedback. Give me feedback. Tell me if it was good, bad, or indifferent. Let me know what I can do, what kind of classes that you're looking for. I'm hoping, and I wish I had said this when there was more people here, I will be doing a chair yoga class in March. So if you know people that would prefer to be doing yoga in a chair, tell them about it. I'll be putting it on Facebook, the flyer about it, and in the newsletter. If you're not getting a newsletter, go to my website and sign up for the newsletter. Fascia, yes, Lisa, fascia is really the biggest culprit. And the only thing that helps fascia stretch is doing the Yin Yoga practice, drinking lots of fluids because you need to hydrate your body. And by stretching out the fascia, you get the fascia starting to be more absorbent of the fluid it needs. When things aren't moving, if you're constantly with tight knees and you're not trying to move that knee joint or your hip joint or any joint, your shoulders, your fascia gets dry and it gets tight and it becomes more like wrapping paper than stretchy saran wrap. My purple yoga mat. Well, I have had this a long time, so I'm not even sure if they still come in purple from that company, but it's Jade Mat, Jade, Jade Mat. And this is the extra thick. So I'm not too sure. I think it's 5/16 thick. But there's two thicknesses. It's the thicker one. And it's fantastic if you're on a hard floor, if you're on outside on your deck, any place, even concrete floors and sidewalks and things like that. I had to practice one time for a while down in the city of Toronto, and all I had was this like patio that was by a garden, and it was great for that too. But it sucks if you're on a cushioned carpet because it's like now super thick and it's too cushy, and it makes me a little bit unstable. So Jade Mat. You're welcome, Suzanne. You're welcome. Any other questions? These are great questions. They are. So don't be afraid to ask a question. There are no stupid questions. Never. See what time it is? Okay. So I'm going to say goodbye to y'all. Namaste. Thank you so much for being part of today. It makes my heart happy. Love you. Bye. Yeah, I have to push a few buttons. See ya.